Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's the match preview of the second leg of the semi-final of the Europa Conference League as AZ Alkmaar take on West Ham United. The Hammers with a 2-1 lead from their game at the London Stadium a week ago. Gonzo, it's getting exciting.
Ah, double semi, my friends. Fourth semi in the last 2 years, in fact.
Prolific.
I know. It's nice, isn't it? Nice round number. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. This is what it's all been about, and that's why we were so sort of disinterested against Brentford, because we all had, wasn't even like you had one eye on Thursday, both eyes on Thursday. So yeah, really looking forward to it, actually, mate.
Anyway, AZ Alkmaar last week. What did you make of them?
Quite a possession for possession's sake, quite defensive, I think, which I don't blame them for doing, by the way, being defensive. Like to play on the counter attack. Okay, nothing particularly special. I have to be blunt about that. I think they were very comfortable when we were not showing ambition. I think once we started to show ambition, but they struggled a bit, really, to be honest with you. So I know they were missing a couple of players, and let's be fair to them, their best player. They were missing their best player. But I was actually thinking this during the game when I was watching. I think, okay, even if you put that guy at fullback there, it's still not sure how much difference it's making to that team. So yeah, look, mate, I thought they were okay, but as good as Frankfurt or Sevilla or Olympic Lyon, I mean, no, they're not on that level, certainly.
They weren't as good as I thought they would be. I was expecting a tougher opponent, to be honest with you. In the first 10 minutes or whatever, when they were knocking the ball about at the back and they were playing out from goal kicks and they were inviting pressure on, I thought, whoa, they've rocked up with a little bit of swagger. They've got a game plan here, and they're quite good at getting it from... They were breaking the first line, our press. They were happy to get it into their midfield and stuff. I thought, all right, they're a nice and neat team. They're very tidy in possession, very confident, very comfortable passing to each other under pressure. But as the game went on, I thought you don't really have much else, though. Apart from that, they'd work the ball into midfield well, but once they got to midfield, I thought the threat ended there, really.
They weren't Ghent. They weren't Ghent, were they?
There's no pace on the counter-attack that I was worried about. There was no cutting edge in attack. Arviola was only really dealing with long-distance shots, and I thought this was quite comfortable in the end. And, you know, we won 2-1, but if anyone was going to score again in that game, it was us. It wasn't Alkmaar. They were happy to lose 2-1 by the end of it. So I'm not writing them off, because I think there's more to come from them in the second leg. And I think they have a game plan for 2 legs. And I think we've seen their game plan for the first one. I expect a completely different one on Thursday night. But going by from what I've seen, I was just... I don't know.
They'll be better at home. They will be better at home than the way. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, I agree. I think we'll see better from them, but we have numerous gears to go up from there. We can be a lot better than that.
Well, I was going to ask you, what do you think about Alkmaar for this Thursday coming?
Well, I've got to guess, really. I've got to presume it. Yeah, I've got to presume that they'll be have a little bit more urgency in their home stadium, that the fans will be noisy, and I have to anticipate that they're going to maybe attack a little bit more. Maybe they'll try and hit us on the break again. I don't know. There's an easy way for us to deal with this, though, because obviously we're in the ascendancy. You know, I think it would be the wrong thing to do for us to sit back and protect this 1-goal lead, because you've got the evidence. You don't even need. There's no scouts needed. If you saw the game, you saw what happened. They were very comfortable when we sat back. When we started to attack, they became less comfortable. So, you don't even have to go back to the number of times when we've gone a goal down and looked better this season. Forget that. Just look at that game there. So I don't know if they're going to try and do the same thing. It'd be interesting. I don't think their fans will let them play on the back foot like that. But I don't know. I don't know much about it, to be honest.
Well, I'm the opposite of you, actually. I think they're going to want us to go and attack them a little bit, so they've got that space to move into. And when I spoke to Michael from the Dutch podcast last week, and he was pointing out about how the record against Ajax, PSV, and Feyenoord, if you put them in a group, those 4 teams in a group, they're top of the table, because they do better against the teams that turn up and try and attack them. That suits Alkmaar. But when they come up against the low block sides that sit in, they struggle. They struggle to break teams down. And I thought I could see a little bit of that in the first leg when they got outside our box. I didn't really feel they had much about them. It was just a case of pass it about until someone takes a shot. And obviously one of them went in the back of the net. But I think in terms of Thursday, I think it starts off in our hands a little bit. The pressure's on them. They've got to attack us. But the reason I'm nervous is because I do believe they've got a plan. The manager was almost a little bit arrogant before the first leg, saying, I've worked West Ham out. I know where their weaknesses are. I've got a game plan. I was at the game against Man U and I can see where we can go about our business. And I thought, okay, fair enough. You probably have spotted a few things. Us as West Ham fans know there's definitely a few weaknesses in our starting 11. So, yeah, okay, they do exist. So if he's identified them, yeah, fine, they're there. But I didn't really see it in the first leg. I'm not really seeing this. But after the game, when they got beat 2-1, he said, I'm confident for next week. And I just thought, well, I'm not going to laugh at that and I'm not going to mock that. Because I remember us against Sevilla last year in the Europa League. We were I'm speaking for me and you here, and some people in the comments, but not everybody, we were quite comfortable. We went to Sevilla and lost by a goal. Yeah. It's game on. Take it back to London Stadium, win by a goal and take it into extra time. And that's exactly how it happened and we went through. So when he's saying, I am confident despite being a goal down, I'm not going to smirk at that because I think, well, that was our sort of reaction when we lost to Sevilla last year. Identical circumstances, different scoreline. So that makes me a little bit nervous. Like you said, a couple of their better players are back this week. They're 5-0 up at the weekend on Sunday night by half-time. But I think you need a little bit of context. And the team they were playing was League One standard. I think Ipswich Town would be able to give them a run for their money, quite frankly. When you look at the rankings of clubs, I know it's not the most I know it's not the best example, but there's very little things you can look at for comparison. And when you look at that, they're way down, like way down. You have to keep scrolling some distance to find them. So I'm a little bit nervous in that regards, but I wasn't that impressed by them last week. But like I said, I'm wary. There's more to come from them. Anything else you'd like to mention about Alkmaar before we move on to West Ham?
Well, the thing that I thought they did best was time waste. And, well, it's true.
Okay, I'll reword that. I think what they did best was play the referee.
Okay, fine. But part of that playing the referee, whilst they were pulling on his strings, was to waste time, and they're not in a position to. That's taken away from them at the moment. They're a goal down. They can sit there and do that all night. But fine, roll around. Roll around, mate. You know what? I'll have a little roll around next to you. Don't worry about it. My head. You've been collecting the knee. I know.
That poor Sammy's just getting to you.
Yeah, it does. Makes you go dizzy. Does my head. So I think that's something that it'd be interesting to see how the referee plays it. But are they going to be even doing that? I'm not even sure they'll put the referee under pressure to do that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they play that.
I'm more worried they're able to work the referee, whether that's a thing they can do domestically as well, or do they just got lucky that the referee in the first leg allowed a bit of time waste. And I don't know, but the reason I use it is playing the referees because Antonio certainly did it with all these diving around and stuff. And I thought, well, there's the complete opposite. Alkmaar, it felt like Alkmaar was a bit clued up, like Tony said in the reaction after the game. It felt like they had a bit of inside info on the referee before the game kicked off.
Sure.
Antonio was flying around. Even after the first half, he was still doing it. And it's like, well, you haven't discovered what the referee's about. So anyway,
maybe their coach just told them. Maybe that's common knowledge with that referee in the European game. Maybe their coach said, right, this guy, you can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe our players weren't given that information. You don't know.
Perhaps. Right then, in terms of team news for West Ham ahead of Thursday night's game, obviously no Gianluca Scamacca. He's back on the road to recovery, in Scamacca's own words.
Unfortunately, the road's in Italy.
Soufal, we're unsure of. We imagine he's still injured, but there's not been any updates yet. But David Moyes, I'm sure, will present us with one. And as per usual, there will be an open training session ahead of the European game. So we'll see if Soufal is in training or not. But Michail Antonio is expected to be fit. He missed the game against Brentford with a calf injury, was hobbling after the game against Alkmaar, but he's expected to be okay for Thursday night. Gonzo, let's talk about the team we want to see, although I think it picks itself a little bit. But let's talk through it anyway. Who would you like to see in the sticks on Thursday?
I'd like to see Areola in the sticks for continuity. I think now having I would have played Fabianski there, but Fabianski's played at the weekend. I just think he's not going to do that. So I think Areola's probably been training. I don't care
what you think he's going to do. I want to know who you want to see in goal.
Yeah, I'd like to see Areola in there.
Still Fabianski for me. I would still like to see Fabianski in goal. Your back four
would be. Oh, do you know what? I don't know why this is a surprise. It's a Gers. That's the thing. He's Can you still see me, by the way? Yeah. Okay. It's a tough one, Geo. It's a tough one, I've got to say.
I don't think you've got much options.
Well, you have. Zuma's play. You've got Kera right back, Zuma, Ogbonna, and Cresswell.
Yeah, that's the same as me. I'm picking the same team as I did last week, though, because the two people that didn't start that I wanted to see start was Ogbonna and Fabianski. Now he'll have made an error, and then Aguerd's going to make an error at the weekend.
Yeah,
so I'm
sure.
like, my 11 I wanted to see was justified, I think. So I agree. If Soufal was fit, would you put him in or would you keep Kera at right back?
I'd probably be inclined to keep Kera there because I think there's fit and there's sort of. It's not just match sharp; it's attuned to the occasion, and I think Kera's probably more. He's been doing a mental warm up as I think he will be more ready than Soufal rather than dropping him surprised. I don't think Soufal would have massively lost a load of fitness over 3 weeks. It's not a base. It's going to be small margins this game, you know.
Yeah, I agree, and also the last thing you want to do is take Kera out, put Soufal in, knock Kera's confidence, and say, "Oh, we need you now." We'll go back in. He's like, hang on a minute, we've seen it go wrong, so I would keep Kera as well. And also because last week Kera was fine. Didn't do anything wrong against Alkmaar. Now, I know they might change the left winger for this game, but if they don't, then Kera knows his immediate opponent. He's had 90 minutes up against him. Happy days, he's ready to go. Midfield, Rice, Paqueta. Would you like to see Souček?
No, I wouldn't. No, I don't know why Moyes played him in that. We sort of do. There were other options. You've discussed it. I've discussed it. He could have put a youngster in there. He could have, but at a point, he decided to have a free hit on the game. He should have done he should have done something else. He played Souček, and you know what? He looked knackered. He's not going to look less knackered on Thursday, and so I think that didn't actually work. And also, not just knackered. I thought he was bloody awful. What did we give him, a 2 or a 3 out of 10, something like that? I speak for myself here in the Patreon player ratings. It was awful, and it wasn't just me saying it. I was looking through like the comments on YouTube, people saying, Souček was a passenger and all of that. And I also think. I think against this team, one defensive midfielder, I think, is enough. I really, really do. And so I would go with Lanzini and Paqueta, actually.
This is the one player. I will pick Souček, but it's the one player that I would concede. I will argue the case for the rest of the ones I'm picking, and I won't change my mind. But Souček is the one I can be persuaded on. The reason I'm selecting him, I think there's an opportunity here. I don't feel we took advantage of our crossing and our set pieces against Alkmaar on Thursday. I felt like whenever we were putting crosses in the box, I didn't feel they were very comfortable. I didn't feel Matt Ryan was very comfortable. Didn't think their centre-backs were handling it very well. But we didn't really do much of it. I was quite disappointed, actually. And I slag Moyes off for keeping Souček in for set pieces. I'm aware of that. But I do think if we are going to sit back, which is what I expect us to do, I think Souček's the better option to do that than someone else in midfield. But on the other hand, I get your point, and it's not a physical team. Alkmaar are not physical, and Souček's strength is the physical game. So you're sort of removing one of the big reasons that you've got him in the team there. So yeah, I'll put Souček in, but I'm willing to sort of say I'm not that bothered if it wasn't Thomas Souček at this point. And I assume our front three is the same.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would be, my friend. Yeah, absolutely, with Ben Rama and Antonio fit again. Antonio, who was probably never unfit anyway, and of course Bowen there as well. And so a lot of them are going to be fresh, aren't they? Well, rested, less fatigued. Let's not call them fresh. Less fatigued than they would have been if they'd have played against Brentford.
Got a hypothetical question for you. If Antonio wasn't fit enough, what would you do?
I think I'd keep the same team and play with Bummer rather than change it to 2. Yeah. If that wasn't working, then I'd switch it around. I'd remove one of the midfielders and then bring Ings on and put Ings and Obama up front. But I think, I probably wouldn't throw the baby out the bathwater just because one player was missing. I think I'd try and find the player that was closest to Antonio, and that would obviously be Obama far more than Danny Ings.
I think I'd go rogue. I'd go Sam Allardyce false 9 kind of thing.
Would you know?
Yeah, and funnily enough, I would actually then take Souček out of the team. And so I'll say Antonio and Souček out, and I think I'd put in Downs and Lanzini and almost go like Downs next to Rice, Lanzini next to Paqueta, and then Benrahma and Bowen, and then you've got it would be a bit wild, but I get the reasoning from Obama. I don't fancy Ings doing the role because I think we're going to sit back a lot in this game. I expect us to come out and defend from pretty much the first whistle. I might be wrong, and I hope I am pleasantly surprised, but we've got something to hang on to.
Yeah. And we do that away from home in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are good at it. You know, we are good at grinding out these results and hitting them on the counter-attack. And I think that's exactly how I think we're going to be the most counter-attacking you've seen us all season on Thursday. I have got a first for one of our previews, Gonzo. 8 years. I don't think I've ever done this. I have a question for you from one of our viewers.
Hey, no, you've never done this.
I have a question from Steph. You know Steph.
I know Steph. Hello, Steph.
Steph says she's got a spicy question for you.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, if this game could go to extra time and penalties, should it go to penalties on Thursday, would you sub on Fabianski?
Yes.
Would you? When would you sub him on?
Just for the penalties.
No, but my point is, do you bring him on just before pens, or do you bring him on at the 90th minute so he's got the extra time to get into the game, or what?
No, because I think that sends the wrong signal. I think if you send Fabianski on whatever 90 minutes or whatever the clock starts, or even 105 minutes or whatever, then you're at that point you're saying to the team, even if you've not said the words, your actions are saying, we're going for penalties here, boys. I don't think you do. I don't think you do that. I think you want to send a message that actually you're trying to win it. But yeah, absolutely. I would. And not only would I'd be disappointed if Moyes didn't, because it would show that he gets too muddled in both ways. Both the players he excludes from the team and both the players he includes in the team. He goes too far with the whole loyalty thing and too far with not picking players. He leaves them too long by not picking them. He leaves them in the team for too long. He's just too muddled. He's too rigid. You've got to be a little bit flexible. But yes, Steph, I would absolutely sub Fabianski in.
So would I. I would like to see Fabianski start. It's part of the reason I would start Fabianski as well. But if Areola did start and got to pens, I think I'd bring Fabianski on for it as well. And I feel a little bit conflicted. I feel when I'm watching penalty shootouts and that happens, I feel it usually goes wrong for the team bringing the keeper on.
You got to know the stats, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I would like to know the stats. Not around Fabianski and Areola's save percentage, but around the teams that make that sub for the keeper for pens, do they tend to go on and win or lose? And certainly a few I've watched, and it doesn't work out. And you sit there as a neutral thinking, well, what have you done that for, you idiot? That's not worked, has it? But I don't know if it's just because they've made the wrong call. Perhaps the keeper they're bringing on is not actually that good at penalties or something. I'm not clued up on enough. But anyway, there's your spicy question from Steph. Gonzo, are you confident for Thursday night?
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Really confident.
Are you confident of winning, or are you confident of reaching the final?
All of it, everything. Winning, reaching. I don't understand. What do you mean winning and reaching? What do you mean talking about? If we win the game, we go through to the final.
Yeah, but it could be.
Oh, I mean, a draw.
Yeah, I'm confident we'll reach the final, but I'm not so confident about winning the game.
Yeah, both things. To be fair, I'm not asked about the other one. But yeah, I'm confident we're going through. I'm not asked if we're drawing and we go through. I'm confident. I'm confident we're happy at the end of the night. That's what I'm confident about.
Why are you so confident?
I don't know. It feels like our time. It does feel like our time. It really does.
You remind me of Ray Winston.
It's our time. And when you and all that, yeah, no, it's he's right. Well, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about the stadium. But if he was,
he was wrong back then, though.
Yeah, I don't like to speak of Ray. Yeah. In fact, what I want to see, you see him sometimes in his dressing gown, raising his dressing gown, isn't he? And he leans over the camera. Come on, you Irons. He gives it all of that. I want to see a bit of that before the game from Ray. Ray posts like a social media post or whatever. That'd be nice. I'm going to ask him. I'm confident. I'm speaking for him now. Ray's confident. All the celebrities, they're all. James Corden's confident. Russell Brand's confident. Everybody, who else is well, not so much. Matt Damon. Wow. All the famous West Ham fans. They're all very, very confident. I'm sure they all are. And us little fellas here, we're confident as well. Everyone's confident, right?
I don't think so. I've seen a lot of comments from subscribers that aren't confident, but there's a few of them are still confident we're getting relegated despite Leeds needing a 10-goal swing or something.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. We're going down and getting knocked out.
Yeah, there's still one or two lingering in the comments.
Oh, no, I'd have had a bad week if I thought that. Got to say, no, I prefer this mood, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm confident that we'll reach the final. I'm not so confident about winning on the night. And I don't know why. I think it's maybe just nerves creeping in that's stopping me from believing, because I feel like if we're winning at any point, you've got that goal cushion as well, haven't you? And it just feels a little bit too good to be true. And that would be the easy way of doing things. And while I'm confident of getting to Prague, I'm not so confident of doing it the easy way. I wouldn't even be surprised if we go down on Thursday. Just to make us all a little bit jittery and just remind you support West Ham. Have a bit of this anxiety. That dream you had. There you go. And then we'll score an equaliser and go run and get that bit of paper out the bin, because the dream is back on. So I think a large part of it, despite me sitting here saying how I think Moyes will play, and he's done really well in European football, there's just a bit of me that's worried he gets it wrong on Thursday, or the other manager gets it right. It can sometimes be two different things. And
well, you wouldn't be a West Ham fan if you didn't. I think you really wouldn't. And some people say don't get carried away. Don't get carried away. But I think. Oh man,
I think it's important.
I want to get carried away. Don't regulate my enjoyment. Do you know what I mean? Do what you feel you need to do. If you're worried about it and you are concerned and you want to watch from behind the sofa, and then fine, I totally get it. But all this thing, don't get carried away. It's another, mate, fourth semi in 2 years. If you can't get carried away about that absolute tsunami of semis, what can you get carried away about?
We couldn't get excited about the second semi. Because we were a goal down. No, we couldn't get up for it either. No. There was nothing we could do. And then Caswell got sent off, and it was just a massive flop. That was it.
Yeah.
But this semi, we can get. This is the most excited I've been for a semi out of all 4 semis.
It's almost more than a semi, some might say.
I'm going to miss the innuendos. Should we?
I know. We're going to have to make sure we get past the quarter-final stage of every at least one competition every year, just so as we can do the semi-special.
Yeah, but
I'm semi-special. There's a ticker tape. Where is it? Ticker tape and stuff for all sorts.
If we have to do a preview for the final, and let's fingers crossed we do. I'm going to miss the innuendos. Can they rename it to like the Europa Conference League hard-on or something? Just for the innuendos.
But it should be like transfer deadline day for us at Hammers Chat. We should have a colour. Both have pink. Look at me. I'm wearing quite a girly shirt. You're wearing a girly shirt. Do you know what I mean?
It's not girly.
What yours is pink.
Real men wear pink.
That's right.
And 4 semis.
And have lots of semis. Exactly. There you go. How can you can't question it, can you?
Anyway, we can't leave it yet.
No, we're not finished. No, score lines and other things, final words and all the stuff. Yeah.
Can I get your final words and your score prediction, please?
Yeah, I'm really excited. You can probably tell. I'm buzzing for it. I mean, I've been really happy about it. Really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a really good. I think just a really good occasion. I'm sure there will be ups and downs. I'm sure there'll be some nail biting things. I'm sure there'll be some frustrations where if you're there and you'd be screaming at David Moyes, why aren't you making a substitution, or you're watching it on telly, you'd be screaming at the telly, or whatever you're doing on the night, chucking your radio out the window or whatever it is. There'll be periods of frustration. But I think in the end, I do think we're gonna get there, and I think we're just, and it'll be great. It'll be absolutely great. And what with Leicester losing last, it was a bit mean to say that. What with Leicester losing last night, what with Leicester getting relegated, my mood's really up at the moment, Geo. And got quite excited watching Liverpool score. I'd enjoy that, but yeah, Liverpool scoring 3 goals is good. I think we're going to win 1-0.
I'm really excited. I completely agree. Just let yourself. If you want to be excited, be excited. It doesn't happen very often. We don't know when this will happen again. Hopefully we win it and qualify for European football next season, but there's a good chance we could go the next decade and not see European football again. So I'm getting excited for it, and that will change Thursday. I'll just be riddled with nerves. I've already got the nerves starting to creep in a little bit. Getting ready for this preview, thinking about Thursday. I've seen stuff earlier about who the referee is for Thursday night as well. And I'm like, oh, this is now the build-up. The build-up to the game has started. It's still 48 hours to go till kick-off, but the build-up started now. Everyone watching this, your build-up has started. You're watching this video. This is the build-up. It's begun now. Nerves are kicking in. Excitement's flowing. And I just hope all we have to do, and to keep it simple, Thursday, all we have to do is not lose. That is it. We don't have to win. I'd like us to. It would be easier, but we don't have to. We just have to avoid defeat in 90 minutes of football, defend like our lives depend on it, and we can get to the final. And we've got 2 weeks of just getting utterly excited, getting carried away, really starting to believe, really starting to dream. And I'll confess, I already am dreaming that we're going to go and win this trophy.
Yes.
This is there's two barriers. This is one of them, and the next one, should we get there, is in the final in Prague. But to get to this final will be a big achievement, and a lot of people downplayed it. A lot of people will still downplay it. I think even if we win it, there will be a lot of people still downplaying it. I won't. I'll put it down as a huge achievement, our first trophy for over 40 years. Bring it on. European football for the 3rd year in a row. These players have a chance to become heroes. To do that, they need to win the trophy. They absolutely have to. Some of them will leave heroes, regardless of whether we reach Prague or not. But a lot of their status is at West Ham depend on this trophy. And if Declan Rice wants to leave a legend, he's going to have to win this trophy in order to do that. I think if he wants to be considered up there with the best of the players in the history of West Ham United, I think he's probably got to do it with a trophy on his CV, and this is the last chance to do it. So I'm going to say Alkmaar 1, West Ham 1. I think we're in for a nerve-wracking night, but I think we're going to do it, Gonzo. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this preview, if you enjoy a semi, please do drop a like on it by clicking the thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat. Leave your comments in the description below. Myself and Gonzo will catch up with you in a bit.